includes natural disasters, wars, human-caused crises, and health-related emergencies, and even pandemics. So Kuya Jerwin's work has brought him around the world, such as the largest refugee crisis in the world in Bangladesh, the protracted crisis in the South Sudan, the impact of the deadly Lassa fever, and rebuilding efforts of the Ebola virus epidemic in Sierra Leone. Also, in the brutal war in Tigray, Ethiopia, the French and English tribal conflict in Cameroon, responding to the failing health system in Benin in West Africa, and he is also currently now based in Yemen, running life-saving program to a country reeled by an outgoing civil war. So our speaker is also very recently supporting the disaster response of the recent massive earthquake disaster in Turkey, Syria. And also, Kuya Jerwin has also been nominated in 2022 by the Office of the President of the Philippines with the Presidential Award for Filipino Individual Overseas. Kuya Jerwin is a good companion, fun to be with, competitive, and a good friend. So let me welcome again our speaker for tonight, Kuya Jerwin J. Capuras.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks a lot. First, thanks for the introduction, and I just want to say that what she said was just like, most of that was just like the icing of the cake, but the topmost icing of the cake was like a good friend and funny person. So the rest were just like, yeah. So I think they're just preparing. It's okay. So thanks for having me here. So I'd always say thanks for the picture. I was surprised you guys managed to have that picture. So basically, yeah. So thanks a lot, guys, for having me here tonight. I'd always say that I'm used to speaking to this kind of situation, but there's only one place that up until now I'm still not used to, and it still jitters me a lot. And you know, it's always MCI. So, but it's always nice to be here. It's always nice to be back to where everything starts. So again, thanks for having me, and it's been an honor. So, yes, you guys can use my computer if you guys want.
Okay.
Or do you think that should be enough? I was 15 years old. So that was way back 2007. Yeah, I was 15, 16. So now I'm 31. So that was like 15 years ago. Yeah, so we started this, we call this movement of young people. So we used to be on the other side of the street, doing the same thing. So for sure, it always brought back a lot of like great memories, like what you guys are having now. So for sure, Stephanie is here. She can also attest times when we were like you guys sitting and then listening to someone. So yeah, it's been so it's ready. Sorry for some technical issue. So basically, I was thinking today, how would I start the talk? I was thinking like a good title. So I was like just trying to reflect where life has been the last few years. So I know sometimes maybe it's weird for you guys to maybe read the title, but at the last minute I just put it Chasing Chaos. So life in and out of humanitarian aid. So that has been what my life the last few years. So basically literally chasing chaos. So wherever there's wars, wherever there's disasters, wherever there's epidemics, or wherever there's like issues around the world, we are there, or I am there. So it's like you're I'm literally chasing chaos. So I want to share about it, and also I want to share to you guys like how the organization has honed and put me or give me these opportunities, and yeah, so we can go to the next view. Next slide, rather. No. Just go back. Sorry, go back first, guys. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that one. Yeah, thanks. I remember I was a student like you guys, so I was studying biology. I studied nursing, but one of the subjects was like biology. So in biology, like they always talk about cells, and they always say that what makes us the human bodies is the trillions, the billions and trillions of cells. That's correct, right? And I always infer and I always make this as an analogy with our life. I always say, yeah, what makes human is the cells, but what makes us who we are is our stories. Yeah, and then I think it's always an honor to share a story. So I'm here tonight standing. I'm gonna share you stories of my life and how I have been the last few years. So I want to start with the picture. They always say picture paint 1,000 words. So I just go through some of the pictures, basically the highlights. So this is we have tons and tons of picture back then with MCISA. So I just took this randomly. So this is during one of our students' retreat. I heard you guys will be having a retreat soon, so this is one of our retreat. I forgot what year specifically, but that was yeah. And then yeah. So this is one of the pictures when I went to West Africa and Benin. I always believe that things connect from one thing and connect to one another. So back, I remember 2010, we have a guest speaker here who was sharing about the work he's been doing in this ship in Africa. So it makes me very interested. So I was like, sitting and listening to him, and I was like telling myself, I want to go to that ship, maybe when I finish nursing school, and then go there and experience how does it feels like. So this is. And it happened. It's crazy. It happened. So right after I finished nursing school, I worked in Davao in SPMC for 2 years, and I always have a goal. Like I told myself, within the 2 years, I need to be out here and I need to be on the ship. That same ship where our speaker has been talking in one of our study forums. So this is in West Africa. So I was on a big ship called Mercy ships. So basically they go around all different countries in West Africa, and they provide healthcare service to the people, and then using the ship. So it's a very innovative, very creative idea. So it's been 7 years ago. This was 2016. So I tried to go through my files and I couldn't find like lots of pictures. So this I could easily find. So I was like, okay, anyway, I'll just put this and explain to the students that this is on the ship. So so this is in Benin. It's a very tiny country in West Africa. For sure, some of you guys, it's your first time to hear it. Even when I exit the country, people were like, where is that? Where are you going? So, but it exists. So there's a country called Benin. Some of my colleagues, and this is like one of the house of one of our patients, that we do like follow-up care and we just like visit. So that's where it is. So this is Rohingya refugee. Anyone of you familiar with Rohingya crisis? So this is in Bangladesh. So this is what's called to be the largest humanitarian refugee camp in the world. So this is like border of Myanmar and Bangladesh. So basically, the Myanmar government has persecuted them because of their ethnicity and because of their minority. So what they did, they ran and then they went to Bangladesh, and this is like the camp. So it's like a whole hill. It used to be forest, and then it was all destroyed just to make a camp. So I was there 2017, right after my stint on the ship, and then stayed there for eight months. So this is what you can see. So I took this picture. So yeah, that's the camp. It's super big. It has a million people, 1 million people in a whole big refugee camp. South Sudan. I don't know if you guys have heard South Sudan. So maybe you were thinking, now this guy standing, why he's been in this weird places? Why not Paris? Why not London? Why these places? But I'll explain it to you later. So South Sudan. So some of the pictures, when I was in South Sudan. So these are some of the nurses there. It's one of the most challenging place I've been. So we live in basically in a bush. So we have to fly. When we arrive in the country, we have to fly. Use a small Cessna plane, and then we land on a dirt runway, and then there's literally nothing there. So if it floods, we don't have a food to eat because we're just dependent on the food supply coming from the rain. So we're basically in the middle of the bush. You walk at the night, there's snakes, there are scorpions and all that. So yeah, but makes interesting, right? So there are the nurses. This was back in 2019. So one of my major role there has been teaching nurses. So basically, I said it's one of the most challenging because it's a country that has been gone through 50 years of civil war, and as an effect, the education has been very affected. And so these nurses, they are technically not really nurses. They finished only like grade 5, grade 6, but we don't have a choice. We have to push them to become a nurse because no one will take care. So I was there, imagine I'm teaching how to insert something to a grade 5, but they really they have the will because they want to help their people. The only problem is you cannot find human resources there because again, there's no existing education. So we ended up training them and all that, but it's very fulfilling, when they're even better than me because they're very good they don't have the theory, but they are very good with technical skills. And these are 2 kids that we treated for malnutrition, so it's very common there. So they used to be just like skin and bones, and then now they grow very fine. So this is Sierra Leone. So I'm just going through some pictures. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ebola fever, Lassa fever. So this is what you guys wear when you have that. So you become like an astronaut. And then take care of people. So if you guys can see, we're holding. So this is a baby there that's affected. You cannot see, but on a stretcher. Yeah, so you can see that. Yeah. So yeah, so that's Sierra Leone. Ethiopia. If you guys are familiar with Tigray War. There's a portion of the country, northern Ethiopia, where the central government has intention to do genocide basically to the people there. So it's been cut off to anything. Even up until now, they don't know what's going on outside the world. These people are Tigrinians. They're from Tigray, so they are the targets of like the central government. So like Ethiopia and Eritrea, they go together and do an all-out war against these people. So we were there to basically do medical service. This is where I currently live. People always say, "Oh, you visit Yemen?" I was like, "No, I live in Yemen now." I always tell myself I'm a Yemeni now. So this is Yemen. It's one of the most conservative country I've been. I think you guys are familiar with Yemen. It's within the Middle East. So this is like pictures of one of our community workers, basically. So that is where I'm currently at right now. So in Yemen. So you guys familiar with what's going on in Yemen? Yeah, civil war. So the north and the south, they are fighting, and then in the south they are now divided into three parties, so they, you know, a lot of breakaway groups and all that. So yeah, so why I'm showing these pictures, more than sharing to you what have my experiences have been, I also wanna share to you guys like why it's important to serve others. For sure you have more question about that, but I'd also be sharing that to you. First, it gives you a sense of meaning. I think this is a good question for any one of us, because I think, especially you guys, there's for sure a very big reason why you are here. You can be anywhere else. It's weekend. You can be, you know, in many places, but you are here because you know that you are interested and you have interest of things that involves service or giving service to other people. So yeah, it gives you a sense of meaning basically. I think they always said a lot, especially I don't know with your generation, my generation. There's always a common question about my generation about like, what's your sense of purpose? You know, what you want to do about life? You know, I think it's true across all generations. But yeah, it's important to serve others because basically it gives you the identity, you know, who you are and the meaning that is rightly embedded by just sharing, you know, or giving help to others. And it makes you a better person because when you serve, you become compassionate. You know, you become determined. You want to learn something more because you want to involve something more. You want to there's a goal, there's a certain goal that you want to do, and on the process, it makes you a better person, right? Like because you learn a lot and you realize like, that's, you know, you have a lot of thinking in your mind. So through serving others or through, you know, service. So basically, aside from you getting the sense of purpose, it gives you a meaning, and this kind of meaning you only get exclusively by serving others. You know, so I mean, that's how I see with other people. Like, you know, they're so much dedicated and they're so much compassionate, and it gives them so much. It becomes them really, really more better. Third, it's an example for others to follow. We take our, you know, we get our model from someone that's worth following, right? For example, I'm giving example of maybe your president here or vice president. So, and if you see her, you see him or her, and he's been, you know, like serving well others, he or she becomes a good example to you, right? So that's what makes serving important. I always tell this to Sir Alan. When I was at your age, I think I'm one of the most annoying student he has. I always go to his office and, you know, just talk. Because I don't know, I just thank God when I was in my young age, maybe I realized that I could really get something from this guy. So, and I was like telling him, sir, you know what, when I grow up, I want to be like you know? So it's, you know, you have someone you look up to, because that's the effect of, you know, people, you know, serving others, you know, and you guys have such a very great opportunity to have Sir Alan, an attorney, you know, like models you could look up to, basically. So I think that's why serving is important. Another one, serving encourages yourself. It's actually a big cycle, because what they say is that when you do something and it encourages you to do more, you know, like I always term it, it's an addicting, it's an addiction. It's a good form of addiction. When I started at my work, I always tell myself, you know, when I'm in the middle of my work, I'd say, this would be my last mission. I'm gonna move on with my life and I'm done. And then after I finish, I would say, oh, I'm gonna go on the next one, because you know it encourages you. It's addicting. That's what makes service very important. This is a question I want to ask to everyone. Why do you think MCI is investing in you, like, or investing in us, or investing young people like you guys? So, what makes you special? Why not the 30 years old? Why not the 40 years old? Why you guys? Yeah, maybe you guys can share. This was a question was asked to me before when I was attending a study forum, and I feel like I remember today when I was making a presentation. I think it's a good question. I would time for me to ask the young students. What do you think? Yeah, why MCI is investing in you guys? Why MCI is investing in us? I mean, I always remember back when I was like you guys. I learned, and I think I learn it more when I grow old. There's always two things it's hard for people to give or to invest. They always say it's time and money. And you know, the more I grow old, the more I realize that. So, and investing involves time and money. So why do you think MCI, you know, spend this time and money? Yeah. So yeah, it's okay if you guys don't have an answer. I will answer it for as well. These are my answers. You guys can agree or disagree. First, because you guys have the energy, right? I mean, you guys are young people. I mean, MCI, I don't think so. Yes, for sure it's interested, but I think they will prioritize investing in young guys like you guys than people my age now, like 30 and up, you know? So like you guys have the energy, you have the intellects, you have the bundles of talents and skills, and you have the ideals and passions, because you know you're at the stage of your age where you possess this, you have this, which should contribute to positive change. They say that education is a great equalizer, which is really true, but I believe that also MCI education is one of the greatest equalizers. Wherever you come from, you can avail of this kind of system of education as long as you have the passion and interest. You guys come from many schools, for sure, you know, different backgrounds. But when you are here at MCI, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. It equalizes you, and it's a very unique environment because it gives you, edge among others, and it's a very precious learnings. The more I was out at MCI, the more I realized these things. That's why before I will always tell students, please don't realize things when you're officially out. Realize when you're still here. So which is really true. I think that's also one thing I wanna tell to you guys, and that's also the reason why MCI put so much time and to you. And also, it's basically you're special. It's what makes you special. You cannot just say, oh, I'm just an ordinary student. Oh, I'm just an ordinary 15 years old. You can proudly say, I'm an MCI student. I'm different among the rest, and I'm an MCI member. I'm an MCI scholar. When I saw your T-shirt, I'm very jealous. I was like, I need to have one proud to be MCI scholar. I used to have one. It used to be white with us before, but I grew already, so it doesn't fit. So I couldn't wear it. But yeah, but honestly, that's what makes you guys special. That's what makes us special. Yeah. So this is just an analogy. I just made this analogy. Are you guys familiar with this leaf, right? You guys can easily find this in our houses, in our backgrounds. It's called katakataka. It's very common, You guys are familiar. So I just want to make this analogy because I just learned. Yeah, you can click the next one. It's a very common household plant. But I just learned that this is a very unique plant because when any part of this leaf, like you take and you throw it away, it grows anywhere. It makes a sprout, So it creates a new plant. It creates a new breed.
Thanks.
And then I wanna make this as an analogy to you guys, as MCI scholars and MCI student, because if you are like a leaf and then you are thrown anywhere, you grow. Wherever environment is that. If you are, trained here, if you are taught here, if you have been influenced here, so yeah, you can be thrown anywhere. You will survive, and you always live. So just an analogy, but I think it's a very interesting analogy. When I was thinking, wow, it's a very interesting plant, and like I was thinking about my life here, and I was like, I've been through. I always had a very good time when I was a student here. It was not always for sure good all the time. There's a lot of bad moments as well, but that's what's make it, right? There's always balance with everything. But now, if wherever life throws me anywhere, you're like this kind of leaf, you grow, or whatever the circumstance, so. I also wanna, we're talking about importance of servanthood. I also wanna tell you guys that also serving comes in many forms. So I'm not here standing and telling you guys that, oh, you should be like an aid worker like me, because service only is being like doing as an aid worker. It's no. So serving comes in many forms. True to that, to us, there's a lot of us. So there's a lot of us we call MCI alumni. So we're still very in touch right now, and all of us has been through different parts of our life, and then but we are still very embedded with the sense of service. So we have alumni that gone on to become teacher, to become doctor, to become social worker, lawyer, or even alumni just becomes a mother. So it's service. So it doesn't mean that service is only comes by serving the government or doing public service. It's all in many forms. So it's also true, it doesn't define what your age is. You can, opening door from somebody you're here, that's a service, right? Being kind to one another, that's service. So serving comes in many forms. So we can go through. And we can sorry, go just return. Yeah. But also another important thing when you are an MCI student, like if you really identify yourself, there's a difference when you're just here sitting an MCI member, but there's also a difference if you really identify yourself that yes, I'm really an MCI member, I'm really an MCI student. There's a difference to that than not identifying yourself. So when you hear me talking, an MCI, it's really someone that really identifies him or herself as an MCI student. So what's the difference is that an MCI student has deep servant heart. It's embedded in you because it's what the goal of the organization. And then also you can go through the. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can go. It's fine. Yeah. So, just also sharing to you a bit of my realization of like what this organization where you guys belong now, how it is as a community of service. So I'm talking a lot of service, but I'm not also telling you guys that when you serve other people, it's always happiness, it's always peace of mind. It's not always like that. Serving does not immune you from rejection or any pain. but you know that there is lessons you learn from here that would always, help you to navigate through, basically. So one of the big thing as well, being of service of others that MCI teach you, is that MCI teaches us basically to draw strength from one another. So this is an area. I think this is a very nice community where it teaches you not to fight with one another, but it teaches you to empower one another. You know what I'm trying to say. So we're not here because we have for sure we have. It's always good to have that sense of competition and all that. But when I'm an age like you guys, I have also a lot of options that I could involve, like a lot of organizations that I could go through. But this is an organization that teaches you so much about, helping one another. We're not here like we compete with one another, but we help one another. We support one another. We help one another grow together. Because this is not the battlefield, The real battlefield is outside. When you go out this door, you finish your studies, that's where the real battlefield is. But in the moment of those, when you're at the crossroads, you know that the lessons and the virtues you learn from the organizations, you can use that, to help you in the real world. So yeah, just some of things I could share to you guys. You could always reflect on it. Sorry, I don't mean to offend, maybe your generation, but I always hear that, especially the Generation Z right now, they always say it's a very self-centered generation. It's just always me, and all that. So I think I just want to encourage you that there's nothing bad, I guess, with that, because that's how the environment build the new generation. But also, what makes us more purposeful is when we have more involvement with the life of others. And just maybe as your kuya, just some advice. First, what you can get here, but also it's very important as you go through, as you journey through, that you always do your best and always find your passion. I think this is the age where it's very good, to identify what do I want to be? What do I want to be when I grow old? It's very common, I guess, in your generation when you finish something and it's easy for you to hop on, like they call it, it's a hop on, hop off generation, because when they enter the working field, they start for 6 months, they transfer for 6 months, but that's what they said, arguably. But again, it's important that you develop this already as young as you are. Find your passion, assess yourself, self-evaluate, and you know what? You could really find a lot of that through here. I find a lot of my passion through my involvement with the organization. There's a lot of opportunities that it gives me, and then it clicked me, and then I know that this is what I want to do. So MCI is the right avenue where dreams and opportunities grow. Also, it's an open, free-flowing environment of learnings, and just take it all in. So again, I always say you have such respectable people in the room, Sir Alan and attorney. I couldn't imagine you guys could have a free knowledge from such, two people that has been so full of knowledge and wisdom, and it's free. So that's why I take it all in. For others, like in some crazy parts of the world, they have this what they call life coach, and people pay like what life coach. I can go home and talk to Sir Alan or the attorney, and I'm fine. It's really true. They have what they call life coach, and they are paid so much. But you are here. It's take it. I want to encourage you guys to just take it all in. I don't know if it's someone say like me, like just crash to his office and just talk. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just take that opportunity, guys. You know, it's there. It's for you to grab it. And you know, when you grow old and you look back on things, you learn that yeah, this was the same advice told to me. It helps me. Yeah. Third one, cherish this community. I always say it's hard to find community as like this. It's easy to find a community, but it's hard to find what is the right community. So being part of this can make you feel, you know, as though you are part of something greater than yourselves. So this is also the reason why this program for many years it's been here, and also the reason why for many years we still keep coming back. So we're the old, safe to say old people, but we know we could benefit. It doesn't matter what we have become, you know. It's a place where we could be who we are. We could go back to our, you know, just old crazy times, and it's yeah. Sometimes you need that. Yeah, just cherish this community. It's hard to find such bonds such as like this. And lastly, also wherever you are, be all there. So wherever maybe life brings you, wherever destiny brings you, or opportunities bring you, just be all there. You know, give it your all, give it your best. You know, that's how you know. Even just being here, do your best. Yeah, I know it's been a very used word of MCI, but we always say, you know, we learned this from Sir Alan. Always say that even when you clean the toilet, you should do your best. So I was in where I forgot. I think I was in Ethiopia, and then there were like group of us from many different nationalities, and then one day they were like telling us, okay, if everyone would share what is your favorite quotes, you know, they were telling. So everyone's telling Mahatma Gandhi, you know, like, you know, be the change you want to be. And so I shared the quotes, and I was like, because this is the quotes, my favorite quote ever. And so they were like, you know, I was like, okay, my favorite quote, so this is like, I learned this from a very important person of my life. He's my mentor. He helped me, you know, when I was youth. And my quote was that, you know, even when you clean the toilet, do your best. So they were like, oh, so maybe it's time to be a cleaner. And then I was like, I mean, they got the sense, you know. Yeah, but it's always been my favorite quote, which is really true. You shouldn't just do your best when the outcome is big, even though it's very small. You know, do your best. You know, it doesn't like, oh, because this will put me into this situation or to this position. I really have to make my effort and my best 200% because the outcome is big. This one, it's, you know. So yeah, so I think that's it, and that's really true here. I think you have a lot of opportunities. Do your best, whatever it's big or small, and serve others because you are expected to serve. Because as an MCI student, it's embedded in you, the serving attitude, and it's the only way to live is also by serving. And I just want to share this. Yeah, sorry if I've been quoting you a lot. I didn't find any more better person to quote. So I forgot, but years back, Sister Ellen said something like this, and I want to just share it to you guys because it reflected on so much potential of you as students. He said one time that MCI believes that a young person is a sapling of power, strength, leadership, and intelligence. That if trained and educated properly, he or she can become a hero, overcoming obstacles and acquire a mind that promises enlightenment to hearts in order to the world. I want you guys, if you guys can, what I did this one time is like I print this and put this on the wall because it's good to have, encouraging words sometimes when so MCISA talks to young person, it's you guys, so that's the reason why MCISA is investing in you guys. That's the reason why MCI built this building, not to, the food is good for sure, but it's you guys, it's time, money, sweat, disappointments, rejections, but
Yes.
MCI believes that a young person like you are, world can acquire, overcome all obstacles and become a hero to the world. So, so I think the next one will be my last slide. I was thinking, how would I end this? I shared some of you about the story, but I just want to share again. Yes, I'm gonna end this. I promised myself I'm gonna do 20 minutes. I don't know if it's more than 20 minutes now. Sorry. I want to share this story of a kid. He's Nurul. It was 2017 in Bangladesh. So I met him. So basically, so we set up a field hospital because the Myanmar militaries are just like shooting a lot of the refugees. So a lot of cases that traumas come to the hospital, but Nurul comes very special. So what happened to him was that, kid in the refugee camps, they don't know sense of war. They don't know if there's a war because they're kids, right? So he's out in the refugee camps, running around, and unfortunately he was hit by a car. And the irony was that it was a car of an aid organization, because there's a lot of cars. So he was hit by a car and he was badly damaged in his abdomen. So he was brought 2 a.m. In our field hospital, and he was in a very bad shape. Emergency, we have to stabilize him and all that. So it's very busy, a lot of doctors, nurses, we're very busy in the emergency room. So in moments that when you are very busy, you don't know, sometimes, Anita can for sure tell this, he works in the emergency department. It heightened you. There's a lot, so you do a lot of things. So one time, so we stabilized him, and then after that, I noticed that my hand bled, and then I just realized that I got pricked by a needle. So I was but I didn't know because I was full of adrenaline because our goal was to save him. So I was like, wow, I just hit by a needle, and for medical community, for sure, it's a very big thing when you are hit by, because it's blood. You don't know, you might have some problem with hepatitis or whatever. So, when everything slows down, so I reported to my supervisor that I got hit by a needle, and he was, telling me, okay, let's run a test with him and all that. And then the test for sure came cleared. So of course that relieves me somehow. Everything's cleared with the blood. And then after that he called me and I was like, hey Jerwin, come here. And so we were talking, and he was telling me, I will never forget. It was early morning. He was telling me, Jerwin, do you think it is worth it? He was telling me like this. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, and he asked me again, do you think it is worth it? I was like, do you think it is worth it that you may get a disease, but in return you save the life of a person? So it gives me, it makes me realize. So one day I was home here back in Davao, and I was, sorry, I get emotional. I asked the same question to Sir Alan. Sorry, why am I emotional? Sorry. I was telling him, Sir, do you think it's worth it? I was asking the same question to Sir Alan. I don't know why I'm crazy. I don't cry. To be honest, I don't. I've been to wars. I've been hearing bombs every day. Why am I crying? Yeah. So I was home one time, and I was talking to Sarah. I was asking the same question that my leader asked. I said, "Sir, do you think it's?" I was like, "I mean, you've been here since 2007, and you've met so many students. And a lot of them love you. You invest so much of their time and your money, and then they just, I mean, they're just nowhere to be found." And yeah, I was like, and then, so I'll let you guys answer that question, but you guys know for sure what Sir Alan answered back to me when I asked him. I think, sir, it's worth it if you just only change one person. For 1,000 of students, but you just only change one person. Do you think it's worth it? Yeah, I think the answer is always yes. So it's always worth it. So I want you guys to be that person that it's worthy of investment and worthy of time. And sorry, I didn't know where. So thanks for giving me a hearing. I always say, maybe it's fair to say that I've been given a chance to